What is up, everyone? It's your boy, writer, director, Edgar Ibarra. So let's go ahead and jump into the new Taylor teaser. Yeah. Oh, trailer teaser for All We Have. Here we go.
Here, take my hand. This is it.
Oh! What's your problem? Yeah, I hope the rest of your stuff falls too.
Sorry about earlier.
All right, so yeah, as the end of that video indicates, the movie will be opening on February 26th in 3 weeks from exactly tonight at the Harkins Theater at the Tucson Spectrum on the south side near I-19 and Irvington. So I would love to have you there, but let me just go ahead and or let me just go ahead and address, not attack. I don't attack elephants. I will address the elephant in the room. COVID-19. The theater has a 50% capacity rule, right? So there's going to be a whole lot less people. They're also staggering the start times for the film, also social distancing with all the seats inside of the theater. So they're definitely taking the precautions and the measures to be precautious. If you do choose to go, I will thank you from the bottom of my heart. If you choose to not go, I will entirely understand, especially in this day and age. As I've said before, it's been a very hard decision to go ahead and move forward with this, but I wanted to look back on this point in time with the release of the film and know that I did everything possible within my power with the tools and the resources and the help at my disposal to make, this happen for people. So, that said, if you do feel comfortable in going, given all of the safety measures that the Harkins Spectrum 18 will have in place, I would love to see you there. That way you can support this great independent film. Now, I wanted to talk about the first teaser trailer, in which we just saw basically our two main characters, Andres and Natalia, meet. And I'm doing this because they're literally crashing, right? So, um, go ahead and stick with me here. I got a little slideshow presentation, so let me go ahead and jump off the Zoom. And first, we filmed at Tucson High School. Line that up because I did not, I just thought I'd ask the school district, hey, do you guys allow movies to be filmed at Tucson High? They did have 1987's starring Patrick Dempsey, Can't Buy Me Love, and it's been a long time since I've seen that film. And then so many other great Tucson locations in that movie. And so turns out that the district does allow rentals of, for different pricing, it'll depend on what you're looking for. If you're looking for an auditorium, if you're looking for the library, if you're looking for hallways or a classroom, they do have different prices for different reasons. So, I wanted to kind of go through the filming and the scenario just to offer you guys some tidbits and some nuggets and also nuggets of information. And let me say hello to Gino Suna. Hey, how you doing? Leida Herring. Leida, ¿cómo estás, Leida? Te quiero mucho. I hope you're doing good, Leida. Um, so let me go ahead and jump right on into these photos. So the first image. Bam. Okay, let's go ahead and take them. So this is actor Stefano Oropesa with the janitor's cart. So he plays a janitor in this movie on the onset of the film from the very beginning. And kind of a funny story here. Let me come back to me also. In the original script, the janitor, Andres, within the story of the film, actually runs into Natalia, or almost runs into Natalia, because he's driving actually one of those janitor golf carts. I talked to the district about that, and they said, "What would you like to do with one of those janitor carts?" And I said, "Well, I want to go past in a pretty busy campus, and pretty much go past a young lady to where he's texting and driving the golf cart, almost misses her." And they're like, "Yeah, no, you're not going to do that." And I said, "Okay, cool. Let's think of some alternatives." So I chatted back and forth with the very gracious person. I forgot her name, but very gracious person who helped me through, setting up the rental. And we just talked about different alternatives and whatnot. And so I went and I slept on it that night. How could we work around this if they're not going to let me take a actual an actual janitor's cart and basically kind of sideswipe, obviously not actually hit our actress Karen Marroquin on campus, and so came up with the idea of this guy right here. Basically, it's still a janitor's cart technically, right? But the thing is, it's not quite, it's quite not quite the janitor's cart that I was thinking. But you know what? It's one of those things where in film you have to improvise, you have to roll with what you have to work with, and the janitor staff, a gentleman that did show up that day when we filmed Sunday, Father's Day of 2018, he's like, "What do you need?" And I'm like, "Well, janitor's car, everything that is lugged around." So he hooked us up with this guy, and actor Stefano Ropesa, maneuvered this cart, throughout the hallways for this scene in particular. Now, this scene is the one that you guys have seen many times where, um, his character, Andres, basically is cruising the halls of Tucson High. And so the thing I loved about Tucson High is that I had never. Oh, that was me. So I had never, and if you guys have a question or if you guys have a comment, just go ahead and leave it. I would definitely love to hear from you guys as I'm live because I just don't want to yap on and on for the sake of hearing me. I want to hear what you guys have to say about all of this also too. So, um, the thing about Tucson High is that I went to high school in a high school, West Covina High School in West Covina, California, just outside of Los Angeles. And it's when you go from class to class, I don't know, I guess you would call it like an open campus, right? Here, this was one of the rare instances where I was in, I don't know if you'd call this a campus that's inside or whatnot, but basically you had these beautiful hallways, and if you guys can see over here, I don't know if my cursor is letting you see, or basically right there, Jesse Stout, actor Jesse Stout right there with the backpack, whose back is facing the camera on the right, upper right of the frame. You've got these beautiful windows coming in the background next to the staircase, which is actually one of the places where we filmed a later scene also. But you just have these beautiful hallways, lots of empty and open spaces, and it just made for great filming locations. And so, a lot of gracious actors like Cameron right there on the left came out to be background extras. Nancy Barrymore, also Jack Bybee, and then also Paul Lowe came out. You guys, I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart to this day for having come out when you guys didn't have to be part of this crazy idea. And they helped fill the halls to the best of their abilities. And so, we just had these beautiful halls to play with. So let's go ahead and keep on moving forward. So on to the next image. What we've got right here is then Stefano Ropesa playing Andres, looking at his phone as he's walking through. You've got Jack Bybee walking between Cameron and Stefan Oropesa right there. He's distracted by his phone, and that was the whole gist of it. Is he was distracted by his phone, and then Natalia. Oh, I had another image, and I guess did I load it? I guess not. Okay. Well, as you guys have seen tons and tons of times, throughout the trailer of the film, what happens is he comes through the door. He's distracted, and she actually had come down the stairs right there, also distracted, also on her phone, and they literally collide when her left foot gets caught beneath the janitor's cart. Now, one of the things I can tell you about Karen is we went through it a time or two, or three, or four, and she eventually found her rhythm on like how to roll. Here, let me go ahead and bring this back on me before we go back to image number three. So, we basically practice like how she would roll so that way she falls, but in such a way to where she's not actually harming her thigh or harming her arm or her elbow. So we figured it out, and we figured out But honestly, like I made my recommendations. I threw myself on the ground a time or two to, maybe tinker with it and say, okay, well, what if you did it like this? And what if you roll like that? Karen eventually literally found her own groove and her own role. And saludos, Leila, how are you? You guys leave me questions. You guys don't leave me talking here by myself because I don't feel like I don't want to be yapping on and on and on just, for the sake of hearing me yapping on. So if you guys have any questions, by all means. So, or actually, you know what? Let me go ahead and go on over here to the video itself. Maybe you guys are leaving comments right there. Maybe not. Okay. Well, if you guys do have a comment, go ahead and leave the comment in the comments. So let me go ahead and go back to the image of Karen Marroquin rolling. Let me see if I choose. Yep, got the right one. Okay, so Karen Marroquin eventually uh, she developed her own role of how to take the hit on her left foot near her ankle, time and time again, because we had to film this from different angles and from each angle also maybe a wide and then also maybe a close up of the opposing actor and actress. So we had to do this multiple times, in other words, for multiple angles, for a wide and then also a medium. And Karen was an absolute pro about it every single time. And so she mastered this fall with the roll, but it looked good. And then with the sound coming off of the uh, the mop bucket right there on the front, which was empty, it just sounded really really good. Like it sounded collision-y, or like there was a collision. And so here, oh, I repeated that image. So she gets pissed off. We've all seen in the trailer. She gets up and she's like, "Yeah, I hope the rest of your stuff falls too." And he feels bad, and he's a little shocked that he wasn't paying attention, hits a girl with his janitor's cart, and then she just walks off. Now again, we for this shot, I don't believe we had a light set up right here also, and then you had also this blue, no, I'm sorry, not blue, beautiful white light coming in. It's because there's a blue frame around my system right here as I tell you this. Um, you just had this beautiful light coming in on the top right, right over where actress Nancy Barrymore is back there. She's walking toward those stairs, and so there really wasn't. You just had to adjust the camera with the correct iris. Maybe adjust the ISO, a little bit on the gain. But the thing is that the light looked great. It seemed a little dark, and I don't recall putting a light on the shot. And if I am wrong, my bad. And trust me, we didn't have a lot of lights, so it's probably like one. But I don't really think that we put a shot on this light. So here's the thing. Let me bring my mug back on camera. All right, so the crux of how they meet is basically they collide because she was coming down the stairs, he was coming from around the corner. They literally couldn't see each other. Jennifer Silvas is watching. Hey, how you doing, Jennifer? Thank you so much for watching this Facebook Live with regards to how we pulled off the first scene right there at Tucson High. One of many, many scenes that we filmed at Tucson High, thankfully. So they're basically they didn't see each other. They collide from around the corner. Yeah, there you go. That looks like a whole lot better with my hands. So they collide, and then afterwards, that's how they didn't even actually meet. She got pissed at him, and she gets up and she walks away. And so it wasn't really like a meeting, but it was, but it wasn't. You know what I mean? So let's go ahead and get my mug off of here and talk about. So Natalia walks away. He's still in shock. Andres is still in shock that he wasn't paying attention. Phone's still in his right hand right there as he's looking back, and she just walked off all pissed off. He tries to say I'm sorry, and she says, "Yeah, I hope the rest of your stuff falls too." Um, meaning I don't know, like maybe she wanted to see all the other stuff fall off of his little carrito right there. So on to the next shot. Bam. What did she forget? What did she leave behind? Neither us nor Stefan playing Andres or Natalia, neither of the three noticed that she left her cell phone behind. I love this shot because the cell phone is your singular point of focus. Everything else is literally out of focus, but she walks out of focus, Karen, actress Karen Marroquin, back there in the actual trailer itself. So we'll go back to the trailer, um, or at least this snippet of it, because it was really neat to do this shot in particular to indicate that neither us, the audience, nor Andres, nor Natalia had noticed that she dropped her phone and forgot it on the ground when he, basically knocked her down with the janitor's cart. So, moving on, ladies and gentlemen, because I know that, looking at phones on the floors is so interesting to each and every single one of you. Okay, so then we dissolve to, she's at the library, you know, it a dissolve in cinematic purposes is has many purposes, but here in the library, in Tucson Library here, let me bring my mug back on screen. Yeah, there you go. So in the library at I said Tucson Library. In the library at Tucson High, that is also a super gorgeous place to film in. And all of Tucson High is a really, really gorgeous place to film in because it just has all this natural light. And it's obviously one of the older high schools in Tucson, Arizona, especially the exterior. You've got this beautiful exterior with these massive columns in the front right off of 6th Avenue. And no, I'm sorry, 6th Street. And all of Tucson High is beautiful. And I dig the old world. I dig old houses, the ones that are made out of, sturdy brick. I dig old structures, etc. So I was fascinated, on top of the cinematic history that Tucson has had in so many films before in the past. So I was just in heaven. Part of that heaven and that all the wood in there and the seam and the feel of an internal high school, just like we always see on TV with the lockers and stuff. A part of that for me personally was the light. So let's go ahead and let me see if I, okay, yep. So let's talk about the light. Here, there was no light. I remember there was no light because there was light coming in from the windows on Karen Marroquin's right, and then also there's this big kind of like it must have been like an open garden space because there's like a glass ceiling way above. I'm gonna say maybe 2, 3 stories up. I don't have an image of it, but the thing is that it lets in this beautiful, beautiful light, and I really didn't have to do too much other than just adjust the camera, make sure the lighting was on point, not too bright and not too dark, and then of course you've got this long range of open spaces. And so here, actress Karen Marroquin is forefront. You've got actor Jack Bybee and also Paul Lowe in the background. And Jack had asked me, hey Edgar, what do you want me to do back here? And I said, Jack, we need your presence back there. You tell me. Um, Jack said, I'm looking for a book. And I said, cool, let's check it out. Show me, because I need to see what it looks like within the frame. Jack back there in the red shirt starts to look around for books, and um, you know, he was an absolute natural. And I think Paul was actually reading a book. You can see on the bottom left of his sleeve right there, toward the bottom left of his sleeve. He's actually going through a book too. So, they're doing some good activity back there that filled that background. And again, background, you guys. I love you guys. Thank you so much for coming on out because it'd be kind of weird if we had like this big, beautiful high school, but no bodies in the background to kind of fill it. So, there's Karen Marroquin, and let me go ahead and go on over to the next page. So, or the next image, I'm sorry. Bam, hand slams down the phone. So these tables at Tucson High, they're the old school tables. They're like the really, really sturdy ones that can, hold chairs really well. They're not the thinner ones. They're bulky. And so, um, my idea had always been, and thankfully the table was able to sustain this idea, literally sustain it, was for actor Stefano Oropesa to put the phone down, not not slam it down, but forcefully. And Angelica Silva Bertado. Hello, how are you, Angelica? So my idea was for the phone to come down, not forcefully, not slammed down, but at the same time enough to where she is, let me see, to where she's reading a book and then all of a sudden the phone is slammed down in front of her, grabs her attention, boom, right? And then afterwards, so the tables are really sturdy and it really worked out nicely. Now, oh, that was me. And then when she looks up, who does she see? Andres, or I'm sorry, Natalia sees Andres, and he tells her just like he says in the trailer. Sorry about earlier. So literally 3 words. Sorry about earlier, and then he walks off. So, he felt bad. Obviously, he felt bad when he smacked her with the cart. Yep, there it is. So he felt bad about this moment. He says, "I'm sorry about earlier," and that's okay. So actor Stefano Ropesa says three words, "Sorry about earlier," and then takes off right there. Okay. So yeah, he takes off, and you know, I don't know. My two cents is he honestly felt bad, and that communicates a lot. By the way, look at those chairs. I wonder, like, how far back, how many years those go, because, like, again, I'm into, like, that's why I'm fascinated by, like, antique stores, because the older stuff, the sturdy stuff, that fascinates me. Same thing with the railing on the far right hand side of the frame right there. And then you can see actually the light coming in from the glass ceiling, probably 2, 3 stories above. I wonder if at some point in time it was kind of like a garden in the center, but it's now filled in with books when we were there. So next slide. There you go. I keep on coming back to me by accident. So Natalia says, "What is that? What is this? Who's this guy?" And he said, "I'm sorry." So he kind of catches her off guard with a simple apology. And so, she sees the phone that she had, forgotten there, and she didn't realize it. He didn't realize it when she had left it in, not that one, but let me see. That one right there. That shot right there. Okay, so she didn't realize that he had left it. At this point in time, he had not realized that he had left it. So the surprise was on us, the audience, and the audience as well. We had not realized that she had left it behind until we see this shot. And then he gets it to her, and she's a little surprised by that. So, he feels bad for having knocked her over, but he takes it back to her. And so she's a little thrown off by that. And then last shot, he walks away. And he's feeling like you could tell by his body language. So here's one of the magical things that of the many magical moments that actor Stefano Ropesa provided for the camera. Character reveals, action reveals character, right? And so he says three words, but the way he walked off camera, let me see if I can find the other. Okay, so right there, in the film, the way he walks off, like you could tell through his body language, he's a little slumped over, maybe he's a little embarrassed, but he did want to say I'm sorry. And she's thrown off, and he walks away. So you can kind of see his hunch right there, just over the railing. He's not the biggest focal point within the frame. He's a small part of this frame, and we barely get a glimpse of him as he walks by. So it's through that little hunch that literally lasted a few moments, when on screen it lasted a few moments, but actor Stefano Ropesa was able to really communicate through his body language. Andres felt bad. He felt bad, but he's just gonna. He said, "I'm sorry." He gave her phone back. He's just gonna go about his day, and so he genuinely felt bad. And so let's go ahead and go on through. If I could, maybe bring myself on camera. Yep, there I am. So let's go ahead and go on through, and we'll play the whole thing again from the very beginning to see the sequence of how it all kind of worked out when Andres whacks Natalia with the janitor's cart. She falls. She's pissed. She walks off, etc. I thought I'd do something a little different versus the same old trailer, because I'll be very honest with you guys. Like, I get tired of it. So, um, but I'm very proud of the trailer. But I want to show something, and I want to show you guys and gals something new. So, let's go ahead and take a look at the what I call I call this cut of the trailer. Um, I call it "What's Your Problem?" So here we go.
Here, take my hand. This is it.
Oh! What's your problem? Yeah, I hope the rest of your stuff falls too.
Sorry about earlier.
And there you go. All we have, that's the what's your problem version of the trailer, as I like to call it, because that's what happens in the film. Now, that was one of the scenes that was early on within the storyline, but as far as for filming, definitely saw um hola we got Sandra Luna. Hola, deseo ver tu film pronto. Sandra, la película va a estar lista cuando ya esté en, por ejemplo, una de las plataformas como, pues esperemos que, pues una de las plataformas como Amazon. Pienso que ya bien pronto. Entonces, ya espero que se podrá ver allí, pero con el tiempo, después de que salga la película en el cine. Entonces sale en el cine el 26 de febrero por toda una semana hasta jueves el 20, no, perdón, el cuatro de marzo. Y ya después de eso, pues pondremos la película en una de las, pues tres plataformas de lo que yo sé ahorita. Pero sí, me encantaría que vieran la película por todas partes del mundo. Em, ok, so, pero sí, muchas gracias por la pregunta y no por, perdón, por el comentario, Sandra. Y espero presentar la película bien pronto. So that was Sandra Luna, and she says in Spanish that she hopes to see the film very soon. Yeah, so that was the trailer for All We Have, and it's going to be running on at the Harkins Theater on the south side of Tucson, Irvington, and I-19. And no, ya sabes, Sandra. And Sandra said she hopes to see the film pretty soon. So the film's going to be out once again. It will be premiering 3 weeks from tonight, Friday, February 26th, for a 7-day run at the Harkins Theater, um, which is the Harkins Tucson Spectrum Theater on the south side of town. 18 screens, and again, they're taking all of the necessary precautions to fight COVID. They're spacing out the start time so that way you can get in there safely. You have to social distance, wear a mask other than when you're seated and eating your munchies like your popcorn, your Twizzlers, etc. And so I hope that you can come on out and check out the film. I would definitely love for you to come on out and check out the film. And yeah, this is one of those films that it's not just an Edgar Ibarra film. It is definitely a Tucson, Arizona film that I'm definitely proud to share and share from the bottom of my heart. So just wanted to give you guys some tidbits on this piece of content, which was the "What's Your Problem?" Well, the this clip of video called "What's Your Problem?" Going off of what happens in the scene when Andres hits Natalia, and so keep your eyes open for more clips, for more videos, for more interviews. I'm just gonna try to get them out to you more and more, and hopefully you guys can enjoy this film and eventually, in time, after the film has made its run theatrically, get on a platform for yourself, just like I told Sandra. Uh, to enjoy on one of the many platforms that we can all access globally. All right, everyone, thank you very much. Thank you very much for hanging out for this little explanation. And I'm going to go ahead and leave the links to the information of the video as well as the links to the Harkins trailer and I hope, and also Harkins itself. That way, you guys can buy some tickets. Tickets are not yet available, but the trailer is now running on select movies within the theater. So if you guys go and go to Harkins on the south side, you guys can actually see the movie screen, or I'm sorry, see the trailer screen on the following movies. The following movies will contain the trailer for All We Have. If my internet was not acting up or acting goofy. That'd be really nice if it wasn't. Um, hmm. Okay, so it's there at the following movies at Harkins. If the trailer, I mean, if you're crazy to go for the trailer, it's going to be Before the Reckoning, The Little Things. I know The Little Things, I think stars Mr. Denzel Washington. Supernova, Brothers by Blood, Born a Champion, The Marksman, and Don't Tell a Soul. So the trailer's already running, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys can and drop by and support local independent cinema here in Tucson, Arizona before we launch it to the world and show the world, hey, Here's what we got in Tucson, the stories and Tucson talent in front of as well as behind the camera, Tucson as a whole. So anyway, everyone, thank you so much, and keep your eyes peeled for when the tickets are on sale. And of course, you're gonna definitely hear me scream and shout about that. Everyone, I love each and every single one of you. I hope you guys have a good Friday night, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.